Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Brock the Collector here, coming back to you with the first Marvel Legends video of 2024, and that is this Marvel Legends Doc Ock Deluxe set. The thing is that I had gotten it in January of that year, and January I was just like, or January of this year, in January I was just like super duper busy, never really had time for it, and then I just sort of put it off. But put it off all the way to now. This is still unopened, but as a sort of both an apology and a bonus, we're going to be doing a double feature with it and the newly released Marvel Legends Venom Let There Be Carnage figure. I had no idea that this figure was coming. I haven't been very tapped in and clued in with the rumors and the rumor game as far as the Marvel Legends go. But as for this year, I think that so far, in terms of figures, this Doc Ock, this Venom figure, and the Man-Thing that they've seemed to have announced, those seem to be the only figures I'm going to be picking up this year. That's what it's looking like. There's not that much movie stuff. I still haven't seen Echo yet, so I'm not very tapped in. But I did just watch Avengers Age of Ultron again last night, so I am in a Marvel mood. So let's take a look at these two, well, I guess you could say new for one of these. And then let's just take a look at these figures. Let's pop these open. So out of the bag, you're going to be greeted with, oh, yeah, this is that bendy wire that they were talking about, isn't it? Whoa, that's stiff, though. Yeah, but that's good. So you shouldn't have to worry about this breaking. So out of the bag, you're going to be presented with, this guy's going to come in his own blob of stuff, you know, his own thing, as you saw me remove. But you're going to have little separate bags that are taped throughout the package that are going to have these little numbers. And these are like his robotic hands and all that stuff. So these are the ones I believe. So I believe he has these flat ones that they're supposed to have that, like, it's like you can stand him using these. He has the claw ones. And then he has these articulated ones that you can sort of use to sort of, you know, pincer or something like that. You know, something cool like that. You get what I'm trying to say. So that's very nice. I like this. I like this. The only thing I can say is that with these, I was worried that I had broken mine because these were already, like, you see these axles here. They have the clips that clip onto the axles for each of, like, the triangular, I would call them clamp things. So they have the clips that go onto the axles, kind of like how they do with the Captain America shields. And I worry about those. I don't really like that system at all, that sort of Lego hand system, because it's very easy to break those axles, especially with some of the plastic that Marvel Legends likes to use. Alrighty, getting the figure into this sort of quasi pose, I have noticed a few things that I am frustrated with. This might be on my copy, but one thing I have noticed is that, you know, naturally with these tentacles back here, the way they're sculpted in and all that, the figure was naturally going to be very top heavy. You get what, or back heavy. You get what I'm trying to say. He's going to want to have to lean back because of the physics and all that. But the thing is that, like, the conundrum is that, like, the legs here, whenever you have figures like that, the easiest remedy is usually to compensate for that by bringing forward the ankle joints a bit and sort of having him, you know, try to stand up, like, well, of course now he's going to do it, but try to have him sort of lean forward. And the thing is that since with these ankle joints, they don't actually come forward that much on these legs. They don't bring the feet forward that far. So you end up having to, like, especially if he's in like a sort of, you try to get him into a sort of more dynamic pose, and you're going to be handicapped by the limited range on those ankles that don't allow you to compensate for the weight of the tentacles on the back. It's quite nice in terms of the legs. You got pinless legs and all that down there. There's not much going on color-wise. Like, there's not much detail for you to really look at. It's a dude in a trench coat, very school shooter-esque outfit. You get what I'm trying to say. He's got, of course, this is movable. This is a movable piece. You got, like, his abdomen sort of chastity belt going on. And then down here you got, like, of course, I think the feet I already mentioned. I thought the feet are sort of reminding me of the Hawkeye boots, but I'm pretty sure that this is a completely new sculpt on these legs down here. Coming up to the arms get nice range, single jointed, but they get some very nice single joint range, which is always good to see. Head is on a double ball, which of course, you know, I really like. So you get that head tilt. And it's a nice double ball as well. The head sculpt is also very beautiful. It looks quite young, but of course, designing it based off of Spider-Man 2. It's quite accurate. I do actually like the texturing of like the trench coat, or the, sorry, not the trench coat, the turtleneck that he's got going on. You know, it's all very nice. And of course, these things are going to drive me freaking crazy. Here's something interesting. I guess they figured why waste paint on the bottom. If these are always going to be on the ground, why waste paint on like, you know, the ground clamps, which I think is very interesting. But look at that. So that's basically, I believe this is the right side. Yeah, this is definitely supposed to go like this, right? Yeah, all right. Let me try to get him standing. And look at that. That alone is worth the cost of admission right there. That is beautiful. Now, the one thing I will say is that be very careful. If you're going to display your figure like this, be very careful. Make sure that you are confident in the position you have him in, because this bendy wire, the thing is that this bendy wire, it's kind of unruly, but the thing is that it's also strong. So, you know, what I realized that I was being very gentle with it at first, worrying if I was about to break it. But what Marvel Legends does with their bendy wire things here is that they have these little these holes in the design as well that allow you to sort of like, it's not going to tear very easily, so you can be a bit more aggressive with it. Like, since these bendy wires are the sort of the strength that they are, like, they can stand for a really long time, but I feel like over time, you know, stuff can weaken and it will eventually fall over. So just make sure you're confident in how you have him standing, because this guy can stand for about 2 minutes and then fall over if you don't have him in something that's super, you know, physically sound for him to be standing like that. So make sure you just, you know, don't be afraid to push him over a bit, you know, mess around with him if you got him into a pose before you get him up onto the shelf. But look at that. That is very, very, very sexy. You see that? Super duper cool. Super cool. I like that. I like that. So to see how he looks, here's him next to the final swingsuit Spider-Man. You can sort of see the... I don't want to take him out of this pose, guys. I'm really sorry, but you can sort of see the scaling there. It's pretty cool. And then you got him next to Tobey Maguire. For a minute there, I was thinking that this guy was in the Andrew Garfield movies. I completely forgot. But it's also like 2 a.m. over here, so I'm pretty tired. The Tobey Maguire figure. Yeah, I like this one. I like this one a lot. Oh, and it is worth mentioning that this guy does come with interchangeable open hands, so that's also pretty nice. No other accessories, though. It's just, that's all you got for him. Carnage. Wait. So you guys tell me, is this the Marvel Legends packaging design going forward? Because at first I thought that these boxes were just for like the anniversary stuff, but I've noticed even with the Man-Thing and the upcoming Marvel Legends, I think it's like a Strange Tales wave that I've seen. Are they just redesigning the boxes? Because that's interesting. All right, straight out the box, and the first thing that you're gonna notice is that this figure is gigantic. I had really thought that most of this was going to be Crow reuse, but I don't think that Crow was actually this tall of a figure. Maybe like around here, you get what I mean? But this figure is actually like hella huge. It's far bigger than I thought. I thought that it was going to be, maybe if it was going to be a completely new sculpt, I thought that it was going to be around Venom size. To be fair, I haven't seen either of these movies, Spider-Man No Way Home or Venom Let There Be Carnage, ever since I saw them in theaters, but was Carnage actually this huge? Because this figure is gigantic. Let's take a look to emphasize. Let's try to show him next to, here's a basic bloke lady. Here's Storm. This is how much higher my camera's coming up, so you can see from the legs them there all the way up to, like, look at that. She only comes up to about his six-pack damn near. You can take a figure who I personally think is a bit oversized, the What If Gamora. And this is a big gal figure, you know, this one is not small. And she comes up to about his, yeah, just about his six-pack still. Like, look, so you can see the difference there. So it's quite fascinating. This figure is absolutely gigantic. I realized that I was ignorant to it. I completely forgot. But this guy has bendy wire as well. This Carnage has bendy wire tentacles. It's very nice. There's not much paint on them at all. There's not any paint on them at all, actually. But it's very cool that he comes with these. Like, I really like this. So apparently this clips onto his back. Yeah, so, all right, but let me try to, before we do all that, and make this review way too hard to do, let's try to show off the figure itself first. So in and of itself, you can notice, let me at least try to show you guys him all in one frame. I'd have to zoom out my camera. It's going to be a bit blurry. I hope you'll excuse me. But look at that. So you can see that. Let's take a look at Cletus Cassidy next to, I forgot, Otto von Bismarck. What's the name of Dr. Octopus's character? Otto Octavius. Is that his actual name? Yeah, I think so. All right, so anyway, sorry, all the Spider-Man fans are tearing me apart for this video. My boys, I'm sorry. I apologize. Here we have him next to the Doc Ock, so you can see even the Doc Ock is a very imposing figure in and of itself with his ability to stand on his own two haunches. But you compare him next to this Venom, man. This thing is huge. All right, I'm not gonna lie. This figure was not in any of my top 10 most wanted wish lists. I mean, I wasn't even a particularly big fan of the movie, but this is sick. Why lie? Why lie? This is freaking awesome. All of it, this is just an imposing figure, man. Magnificent. So the only thing is, I wish that I guess it doesn't matter where these tentacles plug in, but I wish that there was some order to it, and I wish that the plug-in was a bit more stable in terms of mine. Like, I'm worried that over time, like, these things can become very loose and pop off after a while, especially some of the bigger ones. But this is beautiful. This is nasty, bruh. This is nasty. The figure is very, like, there's just a lot going on, though. That's the one thing I can say. Like, it's fun, but you gotta be a bit more delicate with it, because all these spikes and all these tentacles and all this symbiotic, all this other stuff we got going on with it are just, it just makes it kind of finicky at times. Like, you can get poked and all these other things, so just be careful with them. But nah, look at that. That is beautiful, man. Man, that is sick. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, those of y'all who are really campaigning for this figure, oh, there you go. Shout out to you. Though I do have a few gripes with it, though. First and foremost, I feel like the ankles need a bit more range forward, just like on the Doc Ock. Second and second most, I wish that the joints were a bit tighter. Maybe mainly just down near the legs, so that wouldn't happen. The accessories, the size, all that, like, it all comes together. Now the only thing is that the few things were, when I had seen photos of this figure, I was initially worried about the paint. In person, I can say it's not as great as I would like it to be. There's some, okay, there's some, like the torso and all that, it looks good, but then you come around to the back and then you just start to see, like, I know that the back of the figures aren't always painted, but I mean, the shading does look good. I just wish that there was more of it, that you get what I'm trying to say, like the black to red transition. It's pretty nice. I just wish that it was, like, on there more, especially on the tentacles. I feel like that could make it look like extra gangster, but I don't know if the tentacles are actually supposed to be all the way red, or if the shading was just on the torso region. So yeah, there we go. But I will not lie, I'm worried about the shelf worthiness of this figure, not just because of the size, or but also because, like, of the standing capabilities with these bigger figures. I've even noticed this with Crow, with all these tentacles and that sometimes, you know, they feel just gummier at times, so I'm worried about that. That's why I wish that this figure had, like, stiffer joints, so that we could avoid that gumminess feel, because that's very worrisome, especially with the big figure like this that can cause a lot of other smaller problems. But for two $40 figures, two $40 deluxes, I feel like you get what you pay for here. I'm not gonna lie. You get some nice accessory. Oh, I didn't even do the lizard mouth with Carnage. Let's try to put that. Look at that. Yeah, man. And did I mention that this figure has a double ball peg at the neck? It is, it's very nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm blown away. I'm tired, so it doesn't seem like it, but I'm actually very impressed with everything we got going on here, man. It's one sexy figure, man. Now, the ankle articulation is prohibitive. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. The ankle articulation is prohibitive. But I think it is made up for. You can compensate for it. It's not, like, as bad as the Doc Ock, in my opinion. And you can compensate for it by moving around, you know, some of the arms. Like, the thing is, with the bigger figure like this, it's the tentacles, the back heaviness of the tentacles is not actually weighed down as much on the figure itself, because of the weight of the weight and the girth of the body in and of itself. as well as these other accessories you can put on the arms that sort of counteract it, so you can get a nice balance going on. Yeah, man, this one is a smooth one, man. I really do like this. The presentation, everything like that. Even the box is pretty nice. You know, it's a cool looking one. I was not expecting to get this figure this year at all. Like, it was just a random drop in May. Just saw it and it was like, whoa, that's a Marvel Legends Carnage from the movie. But I can see why people were campaigning for this now. Like, let's take a look at it next to a figure that I thought was... Okay, I mean, I guess it's not as big as Khonshu. Honestly, I feel like it would be taller than Khonshu if I had him standing up all the way. Look at it. Like, it's makes Khonshu look like a basic bloke. And Khonshu is a big brother. So yeah, man, this is I do like the Marvel Legends team getting more ambitious and trying different or applying, you know, new technologies and techniques to the movie figures. It's always very nice to see, and we have examples of that. The bendy wire truly has revolutionized the playability factor and the posability, the options you have for display with a lot of these figures here that it applies to. So let's see more of it for sure, man. Alrighty, so looking at our two Spider-Man villains here, you can really see, I mean, man, the size of this Carnage. Like, I really can take a figure like Spider-Man over there and you can just see the presence that Doc Ock has, man. It's a bit mad. Let me make sure that this thing doesn't, yeah. So it's a bit crazy to sort of see him next to like a regular dude. That Carnage, excuse me. Well, the Carnage and the Doc Ock, honestly, because even the Doc Ock with the tentacles, like, you just got some interesting stuff going on here, man. These are two very highly anticipated figures, especially for Spider-Man movie fans and all that. So this is nice to see. So we got a villains roster growing up. We all know that the movies and the TV shows, as far as the villains go, sometimes they fail to deliver. So it's nice to see these, and also at the same time we're getting some very interesting new technology going on here, which is always nice to see, so we can see the size comparisons there. I really can't reach the Venom at all. I can try to compare him to the Khonshu for you, though. He's about Khonshu height. Actually, I think might actually be a bit taller. But that perspective, yeah, he's about Khonshu height. He's still a bit taller than Khonshu as well. It's getting around time to add these figures to the shelf, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I'm not gonna lie. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, I can't do them both at the same time, so they're gonna have to take turns. Let's start with the Carnage. So that's my Spider-Man section over there. You can see how cramped it is. The idea is to try to get them to fit behind the Spider-Man there, but that's gonna take some time. These are figures, especially considering the bendy wire. It's not like the bendy wire, it's bendy wire. You know what it is. So it's not gonna be it's not gonna completely obey the demands whenever you try to twist it and pull it. That's why working with it can be a bit like of a hassle, but I prefer it to pre-posed, but still, you know, you just got to be a bit creative with it. So these are figures that you got to pose around, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have them down first, especially when they're big ones like this Carnage. Put those figures down first, have them bendy wires arranged in the way that you need them to, and then you can pose figures around it. But he's a very nice figure. I do suggest getting him, especially if you can get him for like a sale. Try to get him for that, because I think that this would be a very nice one to add to a collection, especially if you just have a movie-based hero collection. You know, that would be a nice one. There we go. It's all very cool, man. I really do like these figures, dog. The one thing I will say is, because of the actual sculpt of the bendy wire tentacles on this one, they're way more unruly than the Carnage one is. So be careful with that. You know, this one, to be fair, I don't feel like they'll break if you move them around. And I do actually like the way they like sort of twist and turn like that. But the only thing I will say is that standing him up on the two tentacles, be very careful, please, because he will fall over if you don't have him done right. I would say if you're gonna have him standing, at least have him leaning up against something, because unless you're a master of that center of gravity, I know it'd take me some time, and I don't even think I'd have the space to get him standing up back there. So we'll have to see what we can do. Scale of 1 to 10, I'd give the Dr. Octopus, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Just because he's like, I mean, he's nice. The bendy wire is a bit unruly. Oh, the feet is what it is. I feel like there should be more range for articulation down there at the feet. So that's what it is. But it has very nice articulation as it is. And I do actually like the way that the trench coat and all that stuff, the sculpt and all that is very nice. But there's not much that the design itself really invokes. You know, it's some dude in a trench coat. The tentacles are where it's at, and the tentacles are done about as nicely as they can be done. For a very fair price as well, I think. $40 for this one, not bad. Say that, to be fair, I would say that the paint could be, there could be more done on the paint. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there could be more done on the paint. Just because, like, in some areas, especially if you have them turn around to the back, like you can see, ow, gosh, that thing just poked me hard. I'm not gonna lie. Sheesh. All right, but if you come around to the back, like you can see, like that's just sort of, it's not really it, is it? But I do like the way the paint sort of shades at the front. Like it looks imposing from the front as well still. I also just think that the way that like the tentacles aren't painted and all that stuff, like it just makes it look a bit weird. But to be fair, when you have them on the shelf and all that, it's gonna be fine still. Like you really don't have much to worry about. The articulation is crazy, super articulation. It's beautiful. I'm sure that people will get some crazy poses out of this guy, even even without the tentacles. I feel like that would be, it's just it's a fun figure to have, and I know that the photography is gonna be crazy. So yeah, scale of 1 to 10, I'd give the Carnage an 8. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really do enjoy this one. I will only say, the only nitpicks again, other than the paint, like I really like the paint on the legs like that. Like look at that, that looks sick. But the only other thing I will say is that the feet, again, the ankles could use some more range. That's what it is. On the hinge, the vertical hinge coming forward, especially, that's what it can do. So that's what it is. That's pretty sick though. I do like that. Look at that. This is some people's dream to have these characters in Marvel Legends form in the modern style, other than those Toy Biz ones. So look at that. That's finally a reality. That's pretty freaking cool. 2 years after the movie came out. 3 almost. But yeah. All right, guys. But y'all stay safe out there. Rest easy, get your figures and all that. Sorry I haven't been cranking out that many videos. Life has been busy, but hopefully we'll return in the SDCC season with some reveals. Stay safe out there, and always remember to be the best. I'll catch you all next time. Later.